Wonderhussy here, hanging out in fabulous Las Vegas on one of the most interesting parts of the Strip. Okay, most of the big famous casinos are on the stretch of Las Vegas Boulevard north of Tropicana Avenue, though there are a few to the south like the Luxor and the Mandalay Bay. But what's interesting to me is that aside from those two resorts, the section of the Strip south of Tropicana Avenue is weirdly underdeveloped. You can see it on Google Maps. While the Luxor and Mandalay Bay take up the whole west side of the street, the east side is mostly empty lots and a few small random businesses, which I find interesting because real estate on the Vegas Strip isn't exactly cheap. What's going on down here? I decided to go for a walk and check it out for myself, starting with the empty lot across the street from the Mandalay Bay, where that nut job started firing a bunch of guns out one of those hotel rooms there and into this huge festival across the street about 7 years ago now, I think. Okay, it was a terrible tragedy. I guess he killed 58 people, and then 2 of the survivors ended up dying, I think, a couple years later. And they were all just hanging out at this festival in this big open parking lot, enjoying country music. And then some guy with mental problems, I guess, checked into the 32nd floor up there. I think, I'm gonna zoom in. Somewhere right around there, and just started firing out the window. Like I said, it was unimaginably horrifying. There's a really interesting documentary, like 6-part documentary they made about it, using people's actual cell phone footage from that night, and I recommend watching it. It's very sobering. It's kind of a bummer. You know, most people come to Vegas because they want to have fun and forget about all their problems. So that's kind of partly why, to this day, there's no kind of memorial at the site where it happened. Okay, they did build a memorial, but it's way, way north on the Strip in downtown Vegas. I guess downtown was the only place that would allow them to build such a downer of a memorial. Vegas is all about good times. We're right by the airport. They don't want people flying in, looking at the Strip, seeing this stark reminder of a mass shooting. Or do they? I was actually just reading that they are planning to build a really cool looking memorial at the site where the massacre actually happened, with I think 58 or 60 white pillars arranged in the shape of an infinity symbol. And I guess the pillars are supposed to light up at night, so everybody flying into Vegas is gonna see this giant infinity symbol out the window and, well, I guess just have the opportunity to reflect for a minute on all these lives that were lost. Now, there's only one more thing holding up this memorial. Okay, remember, they already overcame the opposition of the casino lobby, who, you know, we don't like to remember bad stuff here, but okay, they came around and I guess agreed to allow a memorial to be placed here. But now they have to get property from this Native American tribe who owns this land. Okay, believe it or not, this chunk of super juicy prime real estate right on the world famous Las Vegas Strip is owned by an Indian tribe. But no, it's not the Southern Paiutes or any of the tribes local to this area. It's this random tribe from, like, I think I want to say Nebraska or Kansas. I had to look it up when I read about it. Like, I've never heard of this tribe. Well, apparently, Indian tribes are kind of like businesses. They can make investments, and apparently they bought some real estate, and now they're sitting on it. I think the people who want to do the memorial are in talks with the native tribe, and, well, hopefully they work something out. Because, I don't know, if somebody I loved died in this tragedy, I kind of feel like I would want there to be some kind of memorial to them. You know, just some kind of acknowledgement that it happened, they existed. I don't know, maybe I'm just weird. I mean, I certainly don't have the typical Vegas mindset, I can say that much. Incidentally, you might notice I'm standing in this really nice strip of shade in the middle of an otherwise blistering hot street, and the shade is being cast by these giant, well, they kind of look like smokestacks, but there's no factory on Las Vegas Boulevard. No, sir. These are actually pillars of a giant Ferris wheel that some developer was planning to build. Okay, I know you're probably wondering, what do you mean Ferris wheel some guy planned to build? There is a Ferris wheel in Vegas, and it's over there behind the Flamingo. Well, believe it or not, back in the heady boom years of the mid-2000s, there were actually 2 competing Ferris wheel projects, and that one ended up getting funded and built. This one, well, it's still sitting here languishing to this day, and I want to say it's been here for like 15 years. That's right, these smokestacks have been standing here in this vacant lot, which is also very prime, juicy real estate, for 15 years. And look, you can even see, here's the support columns. I'm not a structural engineer, and I don't actually understand how Ferris wheels work, but I guess there's some kind of tension involved. And so this would have been, I guess, where these giant braided steel cables or something would have held the wheel? I mean, that's my layperson's assumption, because there's 4 of these giant towers, one on each corner of this lot where these smokestacks are standing in the middle of. So to me, that's what it seems like they were probably meant for. Any structural engineers who happen to be watching this video, feel free to comment and tell me if I'm wrong. Anyway, these pillars have been standing in this vacant lot for something like 15 years now, if not even longer. And so you're probably wondering, like I was wondering, what's taking so long? I mean, they build stuff like there's no tomorrow on the Vegas Strip. I can't believe some developer hasn't snapped up this property and built another casino. But apparently, I guess the guy who owns the land, it's like 17 acres. It's a 17-acre parcel. And so he won't subdivide it. You gotta buy all 17 acres. And maybe his asking price is unreasonably high. I'm not sure what's going on. It's just kind of weird to me that there's this blighted, post-apocalyptic looking, Chernobyl-esque busted Ferris wheel in the middle of one of the fanciest, ritziest resort destinations in the entire world. What's interesting is all that fancy stuff is farther north that way. This little stretch of the South Strip is, to me, very interesting. I became interested in it yesterday. I came to town to watch the Tropicana implosion. Okay, they just blew up the iconic Tropicana Hotel, which had been standing there for 57 years, last night at 2:30 in the morning, so I stayed the night here. But I didn't want to stay in one of these big fancy hotels, A, because they all jacked the rates up because of the implosion, and B, well, if you park in one of these casino hotels, you have to walk at least a quarter, a third, a half a mile just to get into the casino, and then you gotta walk through a smoke-filled casino and get in these elevator banks and wait forever for an elevator, and gosh, by the time you add it all up, it takes something like a half hour just to get from your car to your room. I prefer staying in motels, okay? I know that might sound declassé, and maybe I'm revealing my white trash roots, but I like a motel because I can park right in front of my room. There's no resort fee, and there's no clanging, banging slot machines and cigar smoke to walk through at the end of a night when I just wanna go to bed. Now, unfortunately, there aren't very many motels left on the Vegas Strip. I mean, yeah, sure, back in the day in the 50s, 60s, 70s, maybe even 80s, when you drove into Vegas from LA, you passed all these really cool, iconic little motels with really cool names like, you know, the Western Inn or the Sage and Sand, the Glass Pool Inn. You might have heard of that one because it was super iconic motel with a swimming pool out front that had portholes in the side of it. I guess it was kind of like an above ground swimming pool. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure they demolished it, gosh, probably about 20 years ago now. So unfortunately, you can't stay at the Glass Pool Inn anymore, but you can stay at an old time Vegas motel if you know where to look. Okay, I stayed here at the Nirvana Hotel, which is kind of a misnomer because it looked like a motel to me. Anyway, I stayed here at the Nirvana Hotel last night, and I actually thought it was one of the, if not the best places I've ever stayed in Vegas. Not least because I was able to park directly in front of my room, and I didn't have to pay a resort fee. And seriously, it's a great location. I mean, it's right across the street from the Mandalay Bay, from the Luxor. It's walking distance to all your favorite casinos and all your favorite attractions at a fraction of the hassle. Okay, I think I paid about $100 for the room, so it wasn't like super cheap. You can probably get a cheaper room at one of these mega resorts, but then you got to deal with all the cigar smoke and the clanging of the slot machines and all the douchebags. I don't know about you, but I'll take a motel any day. But unfortunately, the rest of these little motels that used to be down on this part of the strip are all falling like dominoes, and I guess the Nirvana is the last one to survive. Okay, right next to the Nirvana is this awesome, well, it says Desert Oasis Motel Apartments. So I guess this used to be a motel. I think it was built sometime in the 1970s. And back then it was a motel, but they converted it into studio apartments, okay? The guy at the Nirvana was telling me he thinks the rent's only about $800-900 a month for a studio apartment right in the middle of the strip. I think that's an amazing price if that's true. Although he did say that the building is in really bad shape and you're basically on your own if you need any kind of maintenance. Although I don't know, I mean, looking in there, the pool looks pretty nice. I mean, this place doesn't look bad to me. I would totally live here. You know, isn't it all location, location, location? I can change my own light bulbs. I can unclog my own toilet. I mean, in exchange for living right in the middle of the Las Vegas Strip, I feel like it's a small price to pay. Now, unfortunately, next door is an abandoned casino. Okay, the Laughing Jackalope is a casino that's been sitting here abandoned for at least 15 years. Again, on a chunk of super juicy prime real estate right across from the Mandalay Bay. And again, it's probably another instance of the property owner wanting way too much money for it. But it won't be here forever either way, because nothing escapes the Vegas bulldozers forever. Not even the Laughing Jackalope. I just love this sign. For those of you who don't know what a jackalope is, it's a mythical creature that's supposed to be half jackrabbit and half antelope. That's why you can see it kind of looks like a rabbit with antlers, wearing a white tuxedo and playing a slot machine. Only in Vegas. Anyway, like I said, the casino has just been sitting here rotting away for the last 15, maybe even 20 years. And I guess there used to be motel rooms behind it, okay? I guess back in this lot here, there was a motel building, but they did bulldoze that. And I don't know why they would have bulldozed the motel part and not the casino itself. I mean, this thing is an eyesore and a nose sore, man. I think a lot of homeless people come hang out here and it smells very heavily of urine. In fact, some classy person left a big old jug full of piss right there in front of the casino. Man, whoever left this here was seriously dehydrated. We're in the desert. You gotta drink a lot of water out here. So anyway, the motel at the Laughing Jackalope met the same fate as the Glass Pool Inn. Because like I said, the classic Vegas motel has apparently gone the way of the dodo bird, the feathered showgirl, cheap steak and eggs. All the things that used to make Vegas great are being bulldozed one by one in the name of progress. But guess what? There is one more motel left standing down here, and it's my favorite one of all. Okay, this is the former Diamond Inn. Unfortunately, it's been closed down, but I think we might be able to peek through this fence around it, and I'll show you why it was my favorite Vegas Strip motel. Okay, I guess this place is for sale too. And the guy who owns the Nirvana Hotel told me he was trying to buy it and fix it up. And I hope he does, because his vision sounded really cool. Okay, yeah, they blocked out the fence pretty good. I don't know if we're gonna be able to see in. Oh, wait, the gate's open. Oh, look at that. Well, I'm just gonna walk in until somebody tells me to leave. First of all, you can see it's a really nice little old school Vegas motel. Unfortunately, nothing left on the marquee, but if you're interested in maybe buying it, there's the sign. Really nice swimming pool, really nice green lawn, and here is the reason I love this thing most of all. This giant pink elephant. How cool is that? I friggin' love that thing. Okay, unfortunately I got kicked off the property by a couple of caretakers slash squatters. I'm not sure if they were official or not, but anyway, you get the idea. There's this giant fiberglass pink elephant in front of this motel, and I'm not sure why there's a pink elephant in front of a hotel called the Diamond Inn. You know, it's not exactly thematically consistent, but that's what I like about this place. It doesn't make any sense at all. You know, a little tiny motel on a street lined with ginormous mega resorts. I guess it's just a relic from a bygone era. I think the Diamond Inn was built in like 1954. I can't remember what the guy at the Nirvana told me. But anyway, if he does buy it, he sounded like he had some really cool plans for it. He was going to keep it looking all retro and vintage. Because you could see in the little brief footage that I got of it. In fact, maybe I can just poke my camera through here too. You can see it's not in that bad of shape. I mean, it has that really cool mid-century modern design, and the landscaping has been pretty well taken care of. Wouldn't take much at all to get that place back up and running. Actually, I was gonna say I've stayed at the Diamond Inn, but I didn't actually stay the night there. I went there for a photo shoot once with this guy that I used to know. He got a room there and he wanted to do some really weird, I guess his idea was sort of Hunter S. Thompson-esque photos slash cheesecake. I don't know, man. You look at the pictures and you tell me, but you can kind of see in the background of these photos that the rooms weren't that bad. And well, back then there weren't squatter slash caretaker meth heads chasing you off the property, and you could pose for pictures with that iconic pink fiberglass elephant. Now, I did ask the guy at the Nirvana if he buys the property, will he keep the elephant there? And he said absolutely, if they'll sell it to him. Because, I don't know, it might end up going to some place like the Neon Boneyard. If you've ever been to the Neon Boneyard, it's this museum in downtown Vegas where they take all the old classic neon casino signs from all the casinos they blow up, probably including the Tropicana, and they put all the signs on display behind a fence, and they charge you something like $25 just to get in and look at them. And if I sound a little bit salty about that, it's because I am. Hold on, they didn't say I can't shoot reverse footage in there. Look at that porte-cochere. Oh, love it. Anyway, I'm just a little salty about that Neon Museum because it's very exclusive. They won't let you shoot photos or videos. I mean, you can take photos, but they have really arcane, complicated rules. Like, you can't change your clothes. I guess they're trying to keep people from doing photo shoots out there. Those signs used to be pretty much public domain, you know? When I moved here, the Stardust Hotel was still up, and that was my favorite sign. Those twinkling neon stars, you know, kind of shining over the strip in a sort of benevolent benediction. I loved driving past that sign, and I could do so anytime I wanted to for free. Now if I want to go visit my old friend the Stardust sign, I gotta pay $25 and I can't shoot any video. Okay, anyway, end of rant. Although believe me, I could rant about Vegas for days. Anyway, this pretty much concludes my mini tour of this, to me, bizarrely fascinating part of South Las Vegas Boulevard. I guess why I like it is it's sort of like this weird liminal space. You know, you go down there and it's like Disneyland or Times Square, there's advertising everywhere and $20 cocktails and celebrity chefs, and it's just very homogenized. You know, feels like you're going to a strip mall lined with big box stores. But over here, it's more mom and poppy. You know, even these liquor stores, the Psychic, the busted old motels, at least they have character, which is something you don't find very many places in a city like Vegas.